been exposed to desert heat every day. The foot soldiers are equipped with an improved M16 rifle with twice the range of the Iraqi's AK-47 and twice as many parts. Sand could be a problem.
Right, talk to me.
A most important unknown, the men and women who would be operating all this destructive equipment. Well-trained, but few had tasted battle. They would face an army of 1 million, thousands of tanks and thousands of artillery pieces, chemical weapons, and above all, veterans of the Iran-Iraq War.
I want peace, not war. But if there must be war, we will not permit our troops to have their hands tied behind their backs.
The Commander-in-Chief's assurances had a pumping up effect, and without the first sign of death, the nation burst into patriotic fervor not felt or expressed since World War II.
We cannot allow any dictator ruler to ruthlessly invade another country and torture and kill its inhabitants. There's a danger of non-involvement, of apathy.
We are running out of these. I've been trying on the phone all day trying to get more of them. There seems to be a lot of support.
Patriotism became as commercialized as Christmas. Despite a recession, people were buying, and manufacturers of war keepsakes couldn't seem to meet the national demand. But as the weeks passed, popularity polls showed a steady drop in the president's ratings. The adrenaline surge was over. Americans pondered the horrors of war. Rapid sales of gas masks in surplus stores, a sign of growing fears of terrorism.
You got your mask, you may be a survivor.
And Americans felt sorrow for the thousands of families split up by the sudden call to arms. The Petersons, both in the military, had to leave their 17-month-old son behind.
For a mother to leave her child, it's one of the hardest things to do. No, he's waving goodbye.
Come here, babies. Come on. Come on, babies. Come on.
I had a problem after kids grew up and got grown. I had a problem hauling in 1,000 bales of hay putting up in yonder, you know.
Yeah, but no, you're not here. I do all these things myself.
In Clay County, Alabama, Monroe and Flossie Wood watched as 8 family members went off to war.
You know, sometimes something has come across my mind, and it tells me, said, that you're not gonna see your children anymore.
The patriotic spirit in this rural county with its monument to fallen soldiers of past wars was strained as never before.
You got to look after each other. So please take care of your buddy.
The president's November call-up was for 100,000 more GIs, changing America's military stance from defensive to offensive. The shield was now becoming a sword.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth the life of one of my boys without get killed for the oil. Let them have it.
I don't understand because of the fighting, if it does happen to fighting over the oil. But right now, I don't think we should be there. But if they call, then I have to support the military.
Good night. No. Won't be tonight.
Got to have a baby with me.
He took Billy away from me with the Lima unit, and then Daddy and Uncle Leon and John David and all them away this time. You'll get through, baby.
How you doing?
I just want him to be here.
National Guard units headed out from Clay County with Thanksgiving and Christmas just ahead.
It's like you're just going through the motions. You can't, you hear Christmas songs and you think of past Christmases, and it's just real special with families.
Good luck to you fellas. Good luck. Good to see all of you.
The president worked to boost morale and underscore resolve. He spent Thanksgiving with the troops. His approval rating had sagged to its lowest level since Iraq invaded Kuwait.
People at home say, we don't want any more Vietnams. That's right. There won't be any. Anybody's asked to fight, they're going to fight and win.
Some politicians, sensing America's new concerns, reacted to the president's call-up of additional troops with anger. They argued the president was sending the nation to war without the consent of Congress, an unconstitutional act.
If anything is clear about the Constitution, it is that, as Abraham Lincoln said, the Constitution was written precisely to ensure that no one man should hold the power of bringing this oppression upon us.
We ought to send a clear signal here that there's a willingness and a resolve to threaten the use of force in a credible way.
And in the street, what had been small outbursts of anti-war feelings grew larger. Still the minority, but now a factor in the public debate over how far the country should go.
No blood for oil! No blood for oil! No blood for oil!
Americans beat back the ghost of Vietnam and zeroed in on Saddam Hussein. Defeating him would be worth the bloody battle.
Question is, are we just going to fight in Kuwait, or are we going to level Baghdad? No comment.
Saddam Hussein can simply do what the world is calling upon you to do. Get out.
January 11th, Secretary of State James Baker with Air Force pilots in Saudi Arabia. The U.S.-led coalition is war ready. So are these pilots. Ready to test their cunning, courage, and their aircraft.
We passed the brink at midnight on January 15th.
And after the deadline, then what?
You will not have to wait much longer for an answer to that question.
But there's another question, not easily answered. How could diplomacy succeed building an international coalition, mounting a naval blockade?
The draft resolution has been adopted.
And passing a dozen UN Security Council resolutions against Iraq, but fail to prevent war?
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, we will now put the draft resolution to the vote.
On November 29th, the UN Security Council authorizes the use of force if Iraq does not withdraw by January 15th. Only the second such vote in the UN's 45-year history. With Trump card now in hand, President Bush makes a surprise offer, face-to-face talks with Baghdad.
I am not suggesting discussions that will result in anything less than Iraq's complete withdrawal from Kuwait, restoration of Kuwait's legitimate government, and freedom for all hostages.
The same day, Iraqi soldiers delivered food to the beleaguered